I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and today I am in Houston at the Texas FFA Convention. And let me tell you, this is my third year coming out. I've been doing a whole series. Every year it gets bigger. Every year I have more fun. Today, I'm welcoming back Mitchell Dale over with Ford. Mitchell, I just want to say, hey, welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Well, thanks, Adam. Good to see you again. I'm just so proud to be here at this year's convention. Off to a little bit of a, let's say, windy start, but
okay.
It looks like it's going well.
Yeah. So I'd like to get this kicked off by just saying, how did you originally get introduced to FFA in general, whether it's Texas FFA or FFA in general? Where'd that start for you?
So I wasn't in FFA.
Mhm.
They didn't have it when I was at
Yeah.
my town. They do now, and they're very active. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
But so as being a Ford dealer and being involved with the Houston area Ford dealer advertising group, my first real exposure, I knew what it was. My first real exposure was back in the late 80s when actually the convention was in Houston at the old Astro Arena next to the Astrodome. And I went there because of my involvement with the Ford dealers and you know, of course, Ford's involvement with Texas FFA and National FFA. But it just felt like a place I wanted to be. I was so inspired with the students. And we started getting involved with our dealership. And was involved. And then actually in 2001, 2002, when Aaron Alejandro, the executive director of the foundation, Texas FFA Foundation, I met him when they were starting their capital campaign. And Aaron, I know you know him, and you know he's not afraid to ask.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't like no.
I know.
But I met Aaron, had the opportunity. I was chairman of the FDF group at that time, and he had come to meet me, and they had been trying to get involved with. I mean, Ford had been involved, but it's like the capital campaign. So he presented the proposal. It was something that I could believe in. Went to our regional manager, and he supported it. We went to Detroit to Ford Truck Division Marketing, and $1.3 million later. That was the largest donation ever at that time. So Texas Ford dealers and Ford trucks became partners with Texas FFA. And then actually the $1 million went towards the capital campaign, and it's the Ford Leadership Center in Austin is where their headquarters are. And then we put the $300,000 into an endowment for our program, which is the Ford Leadership Scholar Program. So that's how I got involved. And you know, then Aaron few years after 2002, I don't remember, but you know, it's just real bit involved with the foundation, and I'm very proud and honored to serve as the chairman of the board. And everything we do with the foundation is to support the students and the teachers and everything great about FFA.
Now you don't know this, Mitchell, but I'm a huge Ford fan. I'm from Detroit originally, so I grew up going to, Henry Ford. I was studying him in college. I've been to the Henry Ford. I've been Greenfield Village, the whole area. Like I grew up like in a Ford culture and Ford family, all that. So when I saw Ford as the leaders, I'm like, hey, of course. I was like, come on, that's the hometown. Of course, I love it.
Well, Ford, you know, Ford trucks are great in Texas. And if you think about FFA, first of all, the core values of Ford, family. I'm proud to say I'm third generation. Our son and daughter and son-in-law are fourth generation. One of our granddaughters and grandsons are actually interning this summer at our dealership.
Wow.
And so that's fifth generation, 77 years. My grandfather started on the assembly line in Houston. They had one here in Houston, had one in Dallas years ago. But back in the 20s, he started to work for Ford, and then who knew where that journey was going to take him. But so Ford nationally has been involved for, you know, forever. But Texas Ford dealers we're all in. And it's a great organization. You know, when you can get partnered with an organization that you believe in, and also is a good mark. Not, we're in the business to sell cars and trucks.
Yeah. And by the way, the reason I bring that up too is because, and this for everybody watching at home, like one of my goals is, and if you've been watching this series, and for you, Mitchell, just to bring you up to speed, is I want other individuals in corporate America that aren't here to be here. So you don't have to be Ford. You don't have to write, and I mean, if you want to write a $1.3 million check, great. Like amazing. I mean, it's going to the Texas FFA and the kids, and they deserve it. Trust me. But the main thing is I want to inspire other business leaders out there, other brands to want to get on board and to ride this wagon, because this is our future. These kids are our future.
Absolutely. These kids are our future.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about all the opportunities that FFA provides them, the great thing that I like about FFA, there's all kind of organizations that are good.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kind of ways for businesses and corporations to just write a check.
Absolutely.
But when you get involved and you see the passion and that these kids and the responsibility that they learn, these are our future leaders of not only the great state of Texas, but of the United States, and make an impact on the world. So I would encourage any business person, corporation, individual, family-owned business, it doesn't matter. Find something that you believe in, that you can support, and get involved. Don't just write the check. Get involved and come experience. If you would come experience the Texas FFA convention, I promise you would.
You're coming back.
You're coming back.
And that's how they got me. Yeah. Like Aaron's like, that was Aaron's pitch to me. Aaron does not no, he's like, Adam, just come see it. Come see it. 3 years later, my favorite place to be every year. It's already on there. As soon as we're done here, we will block off all the same week. Whatever the week is going to be next year, we'll block it off. That's on my schedule. Like, and they were, for context, for somebody that's maybe watching this far into the future, we're going through a hurricane the last couple of days, like before this. And we didn't have power in the convention center. My team wanted to cancel. They're like, are you going? Should you go? Should we book you somewhere else? Should we do something? I'm like, I'm good. If American Airlines is flying me here, and if they're okay, I'm okay. That's the way I see it. I'm not missing it.
Well, life lessons. I mean, these kids, if they're raising an animal, if they're competing in other things, there's bumps on the road. That's just the way life is. But this, the resiliency of you, the sponsors, the kids, the students, certainly using the best judgment. But obviously, things have cleared out. The sky's blue out there right now, and it was. I'm telling you, I lost sleep thinking that they were going to have to cancel this.
Same.
Because these kids, it means so much to them, and all the scholarships, the preparation, the time,
the work, and years to dream to be on stage and to do all these things and to grow those bonds. Like you don't get that,
No. And so it's wonderful that we're here, and it's great to be a part and so to support the students and don't forget about the advisors. I'm telling you, the ag teachers and advisors, their job is 24/7, 365, and they, whether it's animals or whether it's competitive speech contests or there's just so many different opportunities, and they've got to balance a lot of balls there, but it's good.
Yeah. And one of the things you said that I kind of want to circle back to is when you talk about the kids and just the quality. And I'm gonna add to that the quantity. So we're talking, I've never been, and I've never been in another environment where there's over 10, sometimes over 15,000 members and the kids that are here together, and you can stop and talk to anyone.
Right.
And like quality, respect, understanding, look you in the eye, talk directly. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's not the exception. No. It's everybody. Like to have that quantity of quality is like, how would you characterize that? Because it's a lot.
So you're exactly right. I mean, it's just FFA has a place for everybody.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're the valedictorian at your school or whether you're the boy or girl that's
the 2.6 GPA like me.
Searching, for something. When they zip up that blue and gold jacket, they become part of something.
Yeah.
And the discipline, the respect that they have for one another, whether it be parliamentary procedure, whether it be looking somebody in the eye, like you say, shaking hands, a yes, sir.
A good handshake,
no, sir,
by the way.
Great handshake.
Like, I'm like amazed sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, it throws me off because in a good way.
Right.
But you'll see some, cute young lady who's just a young lady, and you're expected to be this weak handshake. And I'm like, I've shook hands with some men that don't have that good of a handshake. It throws me off.
That's part of their pride.
I know, and you see it, and it comes through, and it's like assertive in a good way. Like it's pride. Yeah.
Right. No, it's it just, some people might say, well, they drink the Kool-Aid or whatever, but they get so involved and it gets ingrained, and they want to represent themselves. They learn to represent themselves. I mean,
to speak, public speaking, all these things,
a lot of things. So the thing about FFA is just like our Ford Leadership Scholar program, which is a great leadership program. FFA builds that foundation. It strengthens the foundation. You've got to anticipate somewhere between 16,000, 17,000 people. Kiddos were expected here today. I'm sure some of them didn't make it because of the weather, but you've got that many young people coming together for the same purpose. And the teachers the same way. I mean, it's like a fraternity.
Yes.
And you travel. I've traveled, had the opportunity over the years to travel with some friends that were teachers and stuff. And we might be in Denver or, somewhere else, Atlanta in the airport. Oh, hey, how you doing? But it's inspiring. It's invigorating to me. And I just look forward to the convention every year to see the smiles on their faces and to be able to, to share that with them.
Yeah. Talk more about the Ford Leadership program. Talk a little bit more about that. You mentioned.
So when the vision from Aaron and Tom Maynard, that was executive director of FFA at the time, was to create, this next level leadership program, very much built on community service and servant leadership. So every year, this is the 15th year.
How does that feel? Hold on. First off, 15 years.
We just our 15th class. So this is 15 years that we've had. Any student in Texas, their advisor can recommend them. They make an application. There's a process that goes through. They read a leadership book. There's tested on that. There's essays that they write, and then the committee, we choose between anywhere from 20 to 24 students out of normally 55 to 60 end up through the whole application process, and then we bring them in to and do a face-to-face interviews, one-on-one with the 6 members of the selection committee. Plus, then in the afternoon.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like being that age and to have that.
These are 16, 17-year-old kids.
People may never have that experience in their life. And if they do, it's probably not until they get to like their first executive position. Not even lower management, not even entry level, to have a board that's going to make a decision on whether or not that's CEO level.
Absolutely.
Training, pressure, whatever you want to say, an experience that most of the time CEOs or C-suite individuals are experiencing that, and they're experiencing that at this age. It's amazing.
As a junior in high school, and then during their senior year. So we do the individual interviews, then we do a group scenario.
Man, I'm sweating just thinking about it, man.
and then it's a tough day. Let me tell you, Adam,
it is.
It's so. It makes me proud. I actually got 2 thank you notes this year from students that were there for the interview.
Yeah.
They did not get selected for the 10, but they were thankful for the opportunity that they had and just like you're talking about, the experience. So that's
how far thinking is that for an individual, even to have that level of self-awareness at that age or any age, to understand that experience is going to be part of their, they'll be thinking
building
about
that foundation.
Man, when they're going for CEO of XYZ company, they're going to be remembering that and how they prepared.
Right. So it's, from that program, then we select the 10, then we have in July, here in a couple of weeks, we have a week of intensive training, leadership training. and then they will go back to here they are seniors in high school this coming year.
Yes.
Not that they don't have a lot going on already.
Oh yeah.
But they go back and then they plan, develop, fundraise, and execute a community service project.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you this is our 15th year. So, and actually this year we have 6 of the 10 students in this coming 15 class are from chapters that have not had one before.
Oh, wow.
So if you look back, last year's class is 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 140 students. There's been 97 chapters and 95 communities represented out of those 140 students. So you think about, not only is it powerful for the students, but look at the impact we're making across the state of Texas.
Absolutely.
When you've got 95 communities that have had a sustainable community service project, and just
the ripple effect
of
in building community, in the conversations, goes far beyond FFA. Like, it's just even just the community of it, like them talking to their other friends that aren't part of FFA or anything else, their parents, what they're doing at home, what are you doing, like what they choose to, like, it's inspiring.
Well, and the, kind of a benefit that we really didn't see when it started was the students, when, they go to all the other organizations in the school, whether it be the football team or the drama team,
of course,
or whatever, and they get them involved. And then, they go out and they get the community involved, and,
which makes sense because of their skill set.
Exactly.
So these are, when we say future leaders, we're not throwing that term around like these are the leaders that, who would have thought? I mean, if you just, we're going to categorize, who would think that the leaders in the ag program got the football team hierarchical, whatever we want to say, they're the ones helping out. That's the leaders. Like, that organize everybody. Doesn't matter where they're from, what they're doing. They're leading the charge, and for good. It's community service projects. Amazing.
Community service. And, the thing that we stress is you don't have to be a Ford Scholar to be a servant leader. But it really builds their foundation, and then they go out and the communities understand, especially in the urban areas. I mean, like Houston, there's tremendous amount of ag students in this area that don't live on a farm or whatever. But, it gets the people in the community, if they're not aware of what FFA has to offer, they see these young people, they go around and they question, they find out what's the need in my community. They all come to the training with kind of an idea of what they want to do. But then part of the training is to go back and see what your community needs. Make sure your community. So then they visit with the different leaders in the community, the different Rotary clubs, things like that, make their presentations. It's just a terrific way to impact a number of communities.
Okay, Mitchell. So last question here. I know you got a lot of things going. I'm not going to keep you all day. Don't worry. Last question. What is your personal favorite part about coming to convention every year? Because you've been doing this a while.
So, just the energy that you feel. Okay. It's to see the energy. I say it's where I recharge my battery.
Oh my gosh.
Every year.
I say that too.
But, when you see the smile on their faces, when you experience the 10 o'clock news at night and you see all the things, the troubled things that are going on in our world today, and you come here and everybody you see, just like you said earlier, they got the strong handshake, they look you in the eye, they're happy, they're proud to be here. And so that's inspiring to me. The future looks bright to me and coming here every year just recharges my battery.
It's amazing. Well, I lied because it's not the last question. Okay. This is a rhetorical one though, so you don't have to answer. So what you're saying here, so what I'm learning here is that at the end of all this, we need a Ford podcast truck. That's what I think he said. No.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that. Speaking of the Ford truck, we
need a podcast set up in the back. Next year, this setup, tailgate of the Ford is happening. We're doing
we'll see what we can do. I got to talk about it here again, how the Ford dealers support FFA.
Yes.
So the president and the first vice president are the traveling team. They visit over
wow.
400, the state officers. There's 12 areas. There's the state rep officer, vice president, but the traveling team travels in a Ford pickup.
Amazing.
And they visit. They lay out a college a year, and then they travel and visit around 400 or more different chapters throughout the state.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So I tell you what, we'll have you a Ford truck for a broadcast booth next year.
We're gonna have one. I'm in. All right. All right. And speaking of Ford, if somebody wants to learn more, follow the Ford, the Scholarship Foundation, or anything else, how do they do that? Like throw me a website where people can learn more and just figure things out.
Well, I would say go to Texas FFA.
Okay, go to
org, and it just look at on the homepage there.
Awesome.
It's got all the different opportunities. That's the best way. It talks about all the different scholarship opportunities, the different programs, the different leadership contests and opportunities. So that's what I would do. Do that, and then just kind of play around with it and see what all FFA has to offer.
Perfect. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll put the links in the show notes, all that good stuff. Mitchell, really appreciate you taking time out for us today. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. We'll see you next year at that Ford broadcast booth.
I'm in. And for the audience, hey, if this is your first time tuning in, Mission Matters, this is a daily show where we're bringing you thought leaders. We're bringing you individuals to give you hopefully inspiration and vision in your walk and your journey as well. If you haven't done it already, don't forget, hit that subscribe or follow button, and we'll see you next time.